Welcome to USpendy InfoViz. Our team has developed an interactive, reader-driven info visualization designed to give the user a clear picture of government spending and how it relates to the quality of life and economic factors. There is a constant topic of conversation in the U.S. that revolves around the issue of government spending and how our tax dollars have been used. The question of whether or not this money is being effectively spent is one that has informed our decision to tackle this subject in our project. Taking a look at our InfoViz, we see on the left side we have aggregate data for the nation as a whole in the form of a data map as well as a scatter plot towards the bottom. On the right hand side we have state-specific data in the form of two time series charts as well as a pie chart. Going back to our data map, we see that we have a color gradient here, with lighter shades representing lower values, in this case a low poverty rate, and darker shades representing higher values, in this case a higher poverty rate. When hovering over individual states in our data map, we get details on demand. At the top here, we have a drop-down that gives us options to change the quality of life indicator being represented by our data map. We can choose from crime rate, unemployment rate, spending per capita, and of course poverty rate. We also have a drop down for the year for a period of time from 2003 to 2012. When changing the year, we update the values being used in our scatter plot as well as those being used in our pie chart. So what questions might we want to answer with this visualization? Well, for starters, let's take a look at what the bulk of spending for individual states is. So a state like New Hampshire appears to have a very small poverty rate, so let's take a look at how they spend their money. Looking at the pie chart over here, we can see that the bulk of spending in New Hampshire is on education at $2,112,961,000. Now let's take a look at another state, say Mississippi, which has a much higher poverty rate at 23.8%. The bulk of Mississippi's spending appears to be social services at $6,918,618,000. So we see there are some discrepancies in how certain states spend their money. Another question we might want to answer is there any correlation between spending categories and the quality of life indicators? So let's take a look, for example, at crime rate. It would be logical to ask whether or not public safety has any effect on crime rate. So in order to change the y-axis on the scatter plot, we simply go over to the pie chart and click the slice corresponding to the category that we want to view. We can see that the y-axis has been updated to public safety. However, based on the trend line, we don't notice a huge correlation between spending on public safety and the crime rate. Let's take a look at another category, for example, unemployment rate. Let's see if unemployment rate is affected by transportation. This appears to have a much stronger correlation. I think it's safe to say that spending on transportation, as spending on transportation increases, the unemployment rate appears to decrease. Another question we might also want to answer is whether or not we can notice any trends for a given state over time. So we see that Nevada has a high unemployment rate. Taking a look at that, we see trends in spending, with most spending mostly increasing. Taking a look at the unemployment rate chart, we see that the unemployment rate had a huge spike in around 2009, which makes sense as that was a time that the country was in recession. We also see that there seems to be a corresponding spike in spending on insurance. This spike in insurance spending is most likely the result of an increased spending in unemployment insurance by the state of Nevada. So there are several different things we can do with this visualization. We also have the option of filtering the scatter plot by a certain range. So we can filter by an unemployment range from 8% to 11%. We can also filter by region, the West, Southwest, Northeast, Midwest, as well as the Southeast. This visualization will most likely be most useful for government officials looking for how best to allocate funds in the future based on the insights they're able to gain from this visualization. However, it's also beneficial to private citizens who may be concerned about how money is being spent in their state and whether or not it really is leading to positive outcomes for the citizens.